Now let's see. Okay, there we go. Hi guys, sorry about that. My mic got switched on the studio today. So yeah. Thank you for all showing up on Valentine's Day. I know that a lot of you out there have plans to do stuff with the significant others. I do as well. Besides sharing streams. Um, and we've got a lot of good things to go over this this stream. I'll probably do my best to keep it as short as possible, considering that it is a holiday and a wonderful one that people should be sharing together, especially if you have a significant other. If you don't have a significant other, happy Singles Awareness Day to you. And we're going to move on now to some of the announcements that we've got going on. First and foremost, we've got a lot of bug fixes happening in the game. At least this time around, they're coming out. And they're going to start off with they are changing red alerts and run amok's class categorization from a melee special to a range special. That's going to change some of their combat bot equipability and make them hopefully more useful in the game. They've got they fixed an issue that was causing Solus Prime's Forge a Solus Prime artifact to display double its actual DPS. So they got that fixed, and it should not affect how you play with her in battles. They fixed an issue where the Nexus, Onyx, Alpha Trion, Alchemist, and Solus Prime building cores were showing incorrect models in the Prime cores list. Now, here's an interesting idea. Alpha Trion building core we know isn't available in game yet. So this kind of indicates that they've been doing some work on it. Maybe we'll finally get that 12th and final building core that we need out there. Then they've got some text updates for power core explanations that include the gene metal rarity. They updated the Solus Prime Spark canister artwork, and they've got a big OS update that will fix the issues for contacting support in game for iOS devices. So that's great, and those needed to be finally taken care of. Next on the list, I've got a message from the Energon miners on Alpha Centauri, Centauri Alpha 6. They asked me to remind you that bringing your energy to your spark is a labor of love. So keep that in mind every time that you grab Energon. It's coming from Alpha Centauri 6. And then last but not least, I don't usually do Alliance plugs on here, but we are celebrating our 10th anniversary in Earth Wars this year, 2026, over at the PPX family. This is going to be incredible. I mean, we're one of the longest lasting families in the game. And like I said, I don't normally do Alliance plugs, but this was monumental in more ways than one, so I wanted to do this out there. We are celebrating 10 years in Earth Wars. That's a huge deal in my opinion. So like I said in the stream, this stream's gonna primarily be focused on some pair ups, synergies, and strategies using those kinds of things. And of course, I want to hear from you guys what you guys have out in the from the chat, and get some ideas flowing from you guys as well. And man, oh man, this is going to be interesting. We've got 4 primary elements in the game. We have other damage types, like smash damage, glass gas, poison, and toxicity, and that side of things. So we've got interesting things to go on with all these different damage types, but my little infographic here is showing some synergies and some pair ups for acid and fire damage and cryo and electric. Those are the elements that work best together. I've done some testing. I like cryo and acid together as well. and electric and acid, but they don't really sync. There's no like damage booster for them. But I do like to mix and match with them occasionally because it's nice to watch an enemy bot get stunned and or disabled and watch the damage over time from the acid effects on them. That's always kind of fun. Then we've got acid and fire, which is still the big meta piece out there. Everybody loves mixing acid and fire together because it really does. It really works really, really well. And people will pair up like scavenger and knockout or rust, dust, and skids. Do that fire, acid energy and really, really clear out some bases. But on the other side of that, where you've got the electric and cryo going on, a lot of people really aren't even aware that some of their favorite bots that they like to use do have those abilities, like Rhinox and Tarantulas. People have been rushing in, and they do rush in and they do cryo damage. And Alito One and Lugnut, they do electric when they pound and land, and so people aren't really harnessing all these potential elements, in my opinion, despite the fact that these are some of the bots that people like to use. And I mean, of course, you've got Tasmanian Kid and you've got Antagony, which have both cryo and electric because they synergize. So it works out really, really well that way for them. And people are learning and realizing that, hey, these bots can do it, and this damage type is a really nice combo. So a lot of people are putting that together. Um, so yeah, it's just fun to see all that happen, and there's other synergies we're going to talk about today. Just not just the overall elemental types, but you've got synergies that work with just two different bots together and how they're equipped and combined. A lot of people like to use Breakneck or Wild Rider to help snipe out against build bots, but they also will bring in somebody like Cutthroat to help drop down some of that screening so that they don't get hit that way. So that's kind of the type of parity and synergy I'm talking about today. And of course, guys in the chat, chime up, add your 2 or 10 Shanix, and we'll work out these combos. Another one of these combos that I particularly love and is one of my favorites is using crap, I just forgot it. It's air raid and slipstream and air raid with a one-shot air jet. I often in chat said I like using her with Viper. But Firefly, who's a great air bot that way, works great, especially at higher levels. He can one shot most defenses too, and do some damage. So can Blast Off. Um, you know, and I just enjoy working with different synergies and different combos that people don't necessarily stop to think about, to turn around and get these areas cleared or their bases annihilated. And another one of those odd little combos that I like to do is I like to use Thundercracker and Deathsaurus because they're electric and cryo, especially if you have Deathsaurus. I mean, Deathsaurus does electric as well, but Firecracker's got great range and such like that. And then one of my favorites is Skyhawk and Scourge. I like actually mixing the fire and ice in that way. And Patrick Bateman, hi, welcome to the chat. Yeah, Dinobot and Deluge is a good mix in that regard too, because of Deluge's passive. He can hack or disable other guys while Dinobot takes care of the stunning and disable on that side with his minions. Another one of my favorite little strategies to use is Flame War. Flame War has both fire and electric, which don't necessarily pair up together, but makes her a versatile bot as well. Flame War is why am I zeroing out on the the rivals today or the counterparts. I'm actually pretty sharp with this normally most of the time. Um, but yeah, they use fire and electric, so it makes them a versatile bot to pair up with. I like using Grapple because he can launch one of his little energon mines and flame work and target that and do a nice little circle of damage with electric and fire around that. Um, full tilt is another good one with electric capability and disable. It's really nice that way too. He's really underrated in that regard. I mean, people like his damage and like his overall use and versatility, but I mean, he can really do some damage out there on the field. So I mean, there's a lot of scenarios and lots of user cases that you can really pair some unlikely combinations together. But I'll start up doing a few here that I really love and enjoy using. And I'm gonna probably mention this a couple more times, but I mean most people know already. But um, one of the strategies that is now quote unquote considered meta, the scavenger and knockout or skids and rust dust fire and acid utility. I've been working with that for 2 years or so now, and it's meta now. Because back when I was working with this strategy, those bots were considered mid level by most of the players, and a lot of people didn't like using them. And now here they are. They're top of the game. They're big pack now. And as you can see in this team, right now I'm putting my Tarantulas and my Thundercracker together. I know earlier it's a Deathsaurus, but I wanted to give you guys a fairly good visual here of using some of these synergies and overall elemental combos together too. And I want another good synergy set in here. And where are they? There's my slipstream. And now we're going to take my blast off or my star scream. I think we're going to go blast off because I like blast off. He's one of my favorites. And this isn't a great team at all. This is just out here to show and fun, just conceptualize and visualize these combos. And I'm gonna, like usual, I'm gonna go up one level from the suggested zone of the team because I like being an underdog. I like engaging my team a little bit harder. It helps strategize out the tactics and the strategies a little bit. And as most of you know, I don't usually deploy in one area. I'll deploy off to the side. And in this case, I'm putting this pair over here. And I'm putting this pair over here. And I didn't get my slipstream off the ground quick enough to enable her ability. But I can maybe bring my Thundercracker in here for a little extra electrical and use the cryo that Tarantulas just dropped. And I got some fire going over here from Blastoff, who took that out before we could get anything done. But now my brand new Thundercracker, he's about to die, so I'm going to give him some out of range tackling here apparently, because I'm not really doing too good with showing these guys off today, which is a shame. Oh, there we go. We still got a little electrical over there on that cryo, and we should watch that beam laser fall really quick. So that was a good quick. That was a good electric and cryo exhibition, even though it took way too long to happen. And we've got Bumbalizzi in here. I hope I'm saying that right. And yeah, Tigerhawk and Waspinator also do a nice cryo as well. I kind of wish in one way that they would give them the dual elements and I still got, hey, we still won that with almost no bots on the board. But yeah, I'd like to see Tigerhawk and Waspinator get an electric added to them, especially considering that Tigerhawk does that lightning strike. So adding that electrical element to his cryo abilities would be good in that way too. But and I know a lot of people are, oh, well, that's one reason why my 5-star slipstream died so quick. She was brand new. But and let's see what we got. Twilight is saying, who's a great strategist, by the way. He comes up with some really oddball, out of the box tactical thinking, which is nice. And he's saying Waspinator and Counterpunch because of their cryo and electric. That makes sense. That makes sense. Let's see how that pair up does, because I get where you're going with that. I like where you're going with that. So let's see. I know I got a 5-star Waspinator. He might be low though. Yeah, it looks like he's on the low list. So I'll grab my 4-star. Here we go. Get these guys going. I'm liking this. I'm liking this idea. Twilight. This ought to be good. And Blade 19 just showed up. Hey Blade, how are you? You missed out on some of the fun stuff I entered into the video with, or hopefully you just got down and we're just watching and now we're chatting. But yeah, we're working on some nice pair ups here. So hold on, wait. I need to reevaluate. Yeah, that's what I thought. We're gonna go there with that, and we're gonna go here with that. And oh, that was a nice unexpected twist. We got Grimlock with some electric damage over there, which he probably was not ready for. So that helped too. And yeah, I can see how this is going to be a very bountiful, fun pair up, Twilight. This could really work out well. I can definitely see how that'll work. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. And Nate Williams, he says, Slingshot and Tigerhawk are also a golden pair. That's interesting. That I hadn't considered Slingshot because he's acid, but I'll give that a shot. And like I said, I'm not bound. I don't bound myself or limit myself to the limits of the standard elemental combos here. So let's see. Slingshot would be Leo Kaiser for me, or Leozak, I mean. I know he's in here somewhere. I don't know why I clicked on Motormaster, but I did. There he is. Leozak, that's Slingshot. And who else? And going back to some Waspinator. Let's I'm loving the love for Waspinator. You know, he's actually a really underrated bot in the player base. And we're gonna go up a level. These are both kind of low level bots. So we're gonna see how this comes off. All right, Nate, we're gonna give this a shot. We're gonna see how this works. This is one of the reasons why I started up the streaming this way, is so that we could all conceptualize and take in some interesting perspectives. But yeah, I do get the acid electric combo, and I know that it's not like a booster for either one of them, but it looks like it's really boosting damage. And I mean, it's doing a really, really, really nice job. And I'm not actually sure if it is giving any boost, but it could be. And of course, Waspinator, that was rather effective. I mean, I know this was like a zone 12 or zone 13 here on the playtest server, but that was actually rather effective. It cleared out really, really nice that way. Slingshot. Oh, he might be. I think I may have been confusing them. But anyway, the acid electric combo is one of my favorites. But yeah, you might be right, Patrick. I may have confused the bots there, but I can still I can still swirl it around a little bit, and yeah, Slingshot is Acid Storm. I I think you're right. My like I said, my counterpart matchups don't want to work today. I've got a huge reference, and it's just like, who's this counterpart? And it's like, I know who it is, but I can't think of it. And yeah, we'll we'll go with the low level Acid Storm, bring in some Waspinator, and ooh, wow, yeah. Well, these are low level, but I've got a couple of decent ones. Leo is Scattershot. Yeah, that's what I thought. But we'll bring this in, and Slingshot is Acid Storm. So yeah, let's take a look. See, I have a comparable range on both of these. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And let's see what this electric acid combo does. And I can tell you, it's going to be rather effective. Yeah, I mean, I know that we're on a low level base, and I'm using some low level bots just to like help harness and show off that these effects aren't because my guys are maxed out or I'm going up against maxed bases or anything like that. I like to try to show practicality whenever I can, and that's one of the things that kind of irk me about some of the other content creators. They're like, "Oh, everything's got to be maxed," and I'm not throwing any shade to anybody. I'm just saying, scenario wise, a lot of people just want to see what the maxed bots do, and I try to give a little bit more real world view on things, showing what the bots at moderate to low levels will actually do and how they're going to be effective. And so yeah, again, that acid cryo combo is highly underrated. I don't think a lot of people really expect to use it that much. I mean, I've been a strong advocate for using electric teams, especially with the disable and doing electrical damage. I mean, Scrapnel's not on my team like he should be, but that's because the bot's got almost no survivability, sadly. But most of my teams do one way or another affect on the electrical side, so that's kind of cool down. This slowdown plus anti-heal is the key. Yeah, and Nate, that's kind of where I was kind of going with, and that's what I kind of mentioned earlier was, it's nice to watch people get slowed down or disabled, and then watch that damage over time and anti-heal from the acid really take effect. It's kind of fun to watch. So it's always nice to watch that way too, and people don't account for that, which is one of the nice type of tactics that people aren't really adapting to or defending for yet. So and I stress yet, but it's hard to defend for acid and electric or cryo and acid. People don't think of that pair up. They just stick with the acid and fire and the electric and cryo. And there's a lot of people out there still asking, what bots do cryo and all that. And I know a lot of people don't want to go out and look through the descriptions, but there are quite a number of bots of every class, I think, except medic, that do cryo and or electric. They're out there. So, all right, let's see. Yeah. Outside of my data sheets or the PPX data sheets, one and the same. I manage them and make them, and our members contribute to them. Yeah, I would agree with you that the wiki is still fairly accurate in terms of the counterparts and the alt sides of things, but and I appreciate that plug there, Patrick. That was really nice to say and much appreciated. Most people are always asking me, "Where's the website for these?" And it's just like there is no website. They're not in game. We do them, and actually, one of my members, Megatron, who I saw was in the chat earlier, so a big shout out to Megatron. he even recommended that I go horizontal with them and instead of vertical. And I've been playing with that layout update, and it is kind of working out well. There's some adjustments I've got to make for it, but I think he's onto something because I know that, and he's not the only one who's come to me and let me know about the problems of seeing the data sheets online and such, especially like through the videos and such, those kinds of means that they can be difficult to read or difficult to see unless I zoom in, and then you're not getting the entire sheet. So I am considering trying out a horizontal layout on those sheets. Ooh, Nate says, let's see, Brainstorm and Blue Streak are one of my favorite big explosions to the healing clusters. Yeah, I can see that. I would probably say Air Raid or or Blue Streak, or actually Smokescreen would probably be better in those regards because I honestly feel that he's a far that Smokescreen slash uh, um, Breakneck are far better snipers in my opinion than Wild Rider and Blue Streak. That's just my opinion. I just find them to be a far better uh, sniper. But yeah, so we've covered some of the acid and electric and some cryo and electric. I want to show this one off because a lot of people still are kind of upset about the downfall or the takedown with Felbat and Chrome, for their abilities. I really want to kind of show this off because this is kind of nice. They can do up to, and I got to make sure this is still accurate. Yeah, they can do they do normal damage, they do electrical damage, and they do disable. So they do like three times three different type of damages with their outposts. And yeah, I know that a lot of people don't appreciate that. Um and they don't see it as a good offensive tool, but I'm gonna try to showcase that here along with impactor's beam damage. And I was talking with somebody, I think it was Fireclaw the other day, about bots that do various different damage types like smash and beam damage and all of that stuff. And beam damage, as you guys are probably aware, are one of the Titan perks that you get from using a Titan, but there's not a lot of bots out there that do beam damage. And honestly, the only one I can think of right off the top of my head is Impactor. I want to say Galvatron, but I know that with the rework they gave Galvatron electrical damage. So yeah, you've got to also take into consideration your Titan perks. Triptychon does uh, beam damage, and Fortress Maximus, of course, does electrical damage. That's Scorponok for my good friends on the right side of the game, the Decepticons. And then, of course, you've got the Nemesis that does fire and explosion damage. So, I mean, those are other damage types that you've got to take into consideration when putting your squads together and putting your Titan on defense on your base. What's going to give you the best effect. And what a lot of people probably don't realize is that you can swap out your Titan before you go into battle. You can say, no, I don't want the Nemesis out in this round. I want to bring in since we're talking electric and stuff, we'll bring in Scorponok, who's again Fortress Maximus for the Autobot players out there. And bring them on your team. All you got to do is activate them, and you can swap them out indefinitely, which is really nice. And you'll see now Scorponok is my active combined Titan. And yeah, let's see what these guys can do. I know in theory what these guys can do. So Blade 19, no. He got a class change. His class went from melee special to range special. So he can probably harness a couple of more combats, you know, like Fireline or Singe or Fracas. But I wasn't aware of any buffs going on that way, Blade 19. But sorry that you missed that. Yeah, I figured you may have missed that in the announcements. But back to this scenario, you know, a lot of people feel clamored down when they changed how Felbat and Chromia worked with their towers, and you know, I don't see much of a problem because they do, you know, they do. You get health, or you don't get health, but your shock tower has 130% of your health, so it's going to stay out there for a while. It does electric damage. It disables nearby enemies. So I mean, there's two electric variants right there. Right there, you get electric and disable, and you know you can make it work to your advantage. And of course, I'm using good old-fashioned impactor here for some beam damage. But now also consider that I've got Scorponok here as my Titan, so he's going to enhance a lot of the electrical damage that I inflict out here, which is even better because, you know, Felbat and Chromia are still good bots. They really are. People just got spoiled, I guess, with the way that they used to just stop a team dead flat in their tracks. But I mean, come here, take a look. That tower took out almost the entire top section of this base. Just that tower alone from Felbat. And this is on offense. This isn't defense. So I mean, I have Brow and I've got the tower out here. And of course I have the Solus Prime Core attached to them. So those three little elements from Felbat, along with the electrical disable and the electrical damage, you know, I don't get why people aren't harnessing that more. And I paired him with beam damage, not cryo. So there is kind of a little bit of a synergy when you can get them to work right, which will probably be part of my next video, my standalone video, not my stream, but my next standalone video. A lot of people were definitely saying I should do it on Waz's stream this week and on Freezius' stream this week. So I'm updating my notes on it and building out some new theory as well as practicality behind that topic, and that's going to be my video on pathing. So far, it's going to be a big video. I don't know if I'm going to break it up into two parts or just make it a single monolithic video. I have not yet decided. I guess it's going to come down to what I get in the final edit, and we'll see how that works out. And yes, Nathan, pathing, because pathing matters. it can make or break you, and I know that I've had many topics with a lot of players on the TFEW Discord, as well as our Alliance server about, no, you got to watch out for when your bot goes this way because of the next nearest thing, and it's not what the person or what the bot is programmed or targeted to go after. So that makes a big difference too, and that all also depends on class. You know, I've heard everything from my gunner went off this way. Well, how's your gunner built? And then they show me that he's got like attack core on him, and it's just like, well, that's half the reason why he's running into suicide and running off the base. So, you know, and Blade 19, yeah, you're right. Yeah, using Felbat on raids is very helpful, especially that disable and electric damage can stop some of those multi-layered and even sometimes clear a few of those layers off of those raid buildings. So yeah, that can be a good thing. Let's see. Here's another one. that kind of gets in my craw. Hey, Dev Zero, welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. One of my favorite bots of all time is Octopunch. He's always done electric damage, and he is personally one of my favorites. He's one of the best gunners, still one of the best gunners in the game. I'm not going to say he is the best anymore, but he is definitely one of the best in game right now. And I still appreciate that that he has been able to maintain a top or high level as in terms of the gunners. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, and that's fine. They're allowed to disagree. I don't hold anybody's opinions against them, unless it affects me directly. But no, I really just enjoy using Octopunch because a lot of people. Hold on, I really want to go back and profile him for a minute, because since we're on the topic of pair ups and electrical damage and stuff, he does a massive amount of electrical damage. And that's on a per target basis. That's not like an area of effect. That's not damage over time. It's one solid hard punch, which is why I think a lot of people kind of discount them, because they're like, oh yeah, whirlwind, tornado, electric, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. And, they don't also realize that he does disable. And for those of you that are like, what the hell's disable? Disable is stun. They just changed the terminology and globalized it back in June with the first of the balance patches. So, and Nate, I can see where you're going. Sideswipe with Sea Spray. Yeah, I can see that. That's a good combo. But I'm going to show you this unique air combo, air and electric combo, and I'm using Starscream with it because he like Firefly or Blast Off. He's got equivalent damage and equivalent range, so I wanna show this to you guys. And a lot of people, yeah, we'll go 13. Why not? Keep going up the suggested zone. It's kind of like my standard. But yeah, no, a lot of people have just turned their nose up or just totally and completely abandoned Octopunch and Sea Spray, and I don't know why. Because I mean, he's got great range. I mean, one of the longest ranges of any gunner. Most air class can still hit him within it. But let me show you something. I'm gonna go target this EMP tower, which I know is resistant to electrical damage. But I'm also going to hit it with Starscream for the fire damage. Watch what happens with this. It vaporized. It just up and went bye-bye. And yeah, that was a combo. That was a combo shot. And I want to make sure that it's not a fluke. That's why I'm trying Octopunch again. And yeah, he is just vaporizing stuff. A lot of people see electric or disable and just ignore them. And yeah, I've got my Octopunch set up like a sniper. I've got Gator Face on him, so he holds back as a gunner, but he acts like a sniper. And we're gonna come in here and we're gonna hit the Grimlock with some electric and disable him real quick, so maybe he'll retarget him and snipe him just like that. So I mean, a lot of people don't stop to consider, the tactical advantages of stopping an enemy in their tracks. That's my opinion. A lot of people really don't consider that. And Patrick offers up Octopunch and Sea Phantom. Can be a lovely combo utilizing acid and electric. Well, that's why we're here. That's why we're talking these unique things, because it's not all about what I throw out into the playbook. It's it's kind of, you know, I like getting you guys involved. I enjoy having you guys involved. That's why probably you guys show up, because you're like, I get to tell CF what to do on his stream, and it's just like you're contributing, and I want that interaction. I like that interaction. So yeah, we'll throw Octopunch down there. And who did you say, Patrick? You said Sea Phantom. Cool. Yeah, let's see that let's see this combo, because I bet you this is gonna be a mean combo. And do I have a good level Sea Phantom on here or not? Mine here on playtest is probably pretty low. It is, but you know what? That's what this is one thing I think differentiates me from the other guys is I show practical stuff. I mean, yeah, I know my Octopunch is maxed, but at the same time, um, uh, I like showing what the players are experiencing or can. Oh, this this looks like a good matchup, Patrick, because we got a honeycomb here. So and we know that Sea Phantom and Octopunch are good at this. Good at honeycomb devastation. So and I'm gonna move that in behind it. So yeah, I targeted Sea Phantom on the. Oh, that was beautiful. That did a lot of beautiful damage. That was a, this is a killer combo, Patrick. This is a nice combo. I'm really digging it. We're gonna target that whirlwind out there so it hits a couple of things and boom, boom, boom. And it's Octopunch for the win. Only because I had a low level, brand spanking new Sea Phantom in place. But it also helps that I've got the Titan who's enhancing my electrical damage at the moment too. So you got to remember to take that into account. Titans do count as a contributing factor to the damages of your teams. So and Patrick, that was a beautiful combo. I liked that. I'm gonna have to borrow that from you and possibly possibly use that in a live scenario, because that was beautiful, and I just love how it cleared out that honeycomb. You know, I've always been an advocate against the honeycombs because they can be taken out so easily, especially with AOE bots. And yeah, I got to admit that that was beautiful devastation. That was beautiful. Uh, let's see. Yeah, Blade, you're right. But that can be said with a lot of bots, and that's, you know, doing combos with a lot of bots can get expensive, and yes, it can. You know, that'll happen with any number of combos. So it's interesting that way. So yeah, that's been a fun little exploration there, and we got about 15-ish minutes left in the stream. And so, guys, I appreciate all your contributions today. I mean, I know it's a holiday, and you know, I mean, it's not a non-working holiday, but it's a holiday nonetheless. Um, and I like I said at the beginning of the stream, was hoping to help cut it short a little bit to give everybody their time that they want to have with their significant others or the people that are important to them, and to enjoy and get ready with their Valentine's Day plans. So I gotta say thank you guys for joining the stream. I'm gonna cut it early, just so that everybody else can enjoy their time today, and you know, with their person by themselves, whatever. I don't want to know. I don't really want to know what it is that you're doing, but hey, it's all good, you know. And don't forget about the energy miners on Alpha Centauri 6, who you know, they bring the spark into life, and it's a labor of love that they mine their energon for us. So don't forget about them either. Remember them on this wonderful day, because there's probably a lot of them down in the mines today. Anyway, my friends, thank you. Thank you for being part of it. Thanks for contributing. The good back and forth in the chat is going on. And have a safe holiday, you guys. Be careful on the roads for those of you that are going out with someone tonight. And we'll talk next weekend. So, as always, my friends, keep up the heroic nonsense.